Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Chrissy here. I've just been given a word this morning, a couple of hours ago, and it's opened up the whole world of, really? So I started writing, I just started writing, and it's going to turn into a video because it's giving me something really interesting. So I've just been given the message, take a breath, slow down. There's a lot of information here. Yeah, okay. First and most lovingly, welcome new subscribers. It's lovely to have you here. Let me know at any point if there's something that you want me to do or make or look into, and if it's relevant, pertinent, and it will help the collective, I'll play with you. Okay. So, guys, the word I was given this morning was dissociation. Disassociation. You can say it either way. And here's the textbook definition. If you dissociate, you may feel disconnected from yourself and the world around you. For example, you may feel detached from your body or feel as though the world around you is unreal. Here are the common causes. Dissociation is a natural response to trauma, PTSD, anxiety, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression, borderline personality disorder. Generally, wherever the concept of order, this all came in very fast. That's out of line. I need to put that at the end. Side effects of excess alcohol or medication can cause dissociation. And also deep meditation and sacred practice can cause dissociation. And then a thought came to me. Just put a little star there. My thought was, generally, wherever the concept of order gets prefixed with dis, have a look at that, because whose order? Whose order are we bowing to, adhering to, deferring to, being defined by, normalizing to, homogenizing to, blending with? I could go on. Whose order? Disorder. Yeah, lovely thought. One of my mates sent me a heads up for something they're watching on Netflix. How to Change Your Mind. It's called How to Change Your Mind. And it's all about, hallucinogenics as a therapeutic treatment. And lots of other language that I've forgotten. Started watching it yesterday. And it's well worth a watch, is all I was saying. It's on Netflix, and it's called How to Change Your Mind. And what it feels into, what it speaks into, well, what it sciences into is the order and the research into the effects of psilocybin, LSD, and there's a third one I haven't watched yet, basically challenge the order of our belief system. And during the time, I mean, the big LSD experiment happened around the 50s into the 60s. And then the CIA came along, and they've actually stated MK Ultra, so I'm going to repeat that, began the war on drugs. So I'm going to share a personal experience with you, because I just kind of After I felt into dissociation, that opened up the broad spectrum of mental health labels and labels generally, and anything that gets prefixed with dis. I spoke about bipolar the other day, jokingly saying perhaps bipolar is the new normal until we transition. So again, I'm going to read words and they're my words. So tune into your body and listen for the words behind the words that are dedicated to your unique soul, your unique expression. And if anything goes ting, it's for you. Okay. I recently used a quote from the series Elementary, which I loved, where Sherlock Holmes says, when he was challenged on leading a half-life here, in this reality, it isn't that I'm disconnected from life, it's that I'm fully occupied building a new world and removing all extraneous detail. Then other bits and pieces started to come into this movement this morning. So bringing some of the pieces together, I had a vision at the weekend where I was shown myself arriving home with luggage and trunks and big luggage, like I'd been away for a really long time. Arriving home to see dust and cobwebs and spiders and saying, my, oh my, how long have I been gone? And then my body had a visceral response. So my soma said, yeah, we're catching up, are we? And this led to the beginning of a spring clean. I literally started spring cleaning in 30-degree heat. I did a bit, and I'll go back to it when the temperature gets sensible again at the end of the week. But there was this real knowing that I have been away for a very long time. And then everything started coming in. I'm not going to share everything with you, but I'm just going to pick out the highlights. And in doing that, challenge myself, challenge the order that's already in me, the shyness and the shame and the guilt of being different and unique. Thank you, throat. It's already started clearing. All right. Since 2017, I have been dissociating from a set of paradigms of order, which simply did not fulfill me or enrich me enough to sustain my holistic well-being on all levels. It's only in retrospect can I now see this was the beginning of a 5-year journey out of the 3D. I've spoken before on my other channel about the bifurcation. Actually, one of my beautiful clients gave me the word bifurcation. I'd never heard of it. And it's kind of the splitting of the dimensions as we learn to walk between worlds. So journey out of the 3D and into my galactic self, so my multi-dimensional self, which I've been tinkering with for decades, but COVID has been such a massive blessing to me, massive blessing in so many ways. And it's allowed me the deep, intimate space to go way down the rabbit hole. So out of the 3D and into my galactic self. Now, I'd have avoided those words back in 2017. Shame, shyness, guilt. Don't stand out. Don't shine your light too bright. All of that stuff. It's all being picked out. It's all being picked out as a system. In that time, I have linked to other star systems, found family, reignited soul bonds, come into unification and integration. I know where I come from. I know what my seed race is and what my challenges are to fully becoming. Through all this, I stayed with my work in the world because it is so deeply enriching for all involved. And I just followed where my work has taken me without a real plan, without goal setting or small-minded needs. My work led me like a wise old teacher through the world of systemic constellating, shamanism, somatic healing, Reiki healing, quantum healing, integration, gatekeeper for the adventure of souls, into more fully living through a broader spectrum of light. I'm still learning how to powerfully stand in my own light. And it's still a wee bit intimidating. I know how old my soul is. Since qualifying as a counselor in 2008, I now engage with clients in the 3D, the meta, and the quantum. I work with their guides and ancestors. We look at timelines, I channel messages, healing across continents. My work in the world keeps me in a constant state of humility, awe, and wonder, like a child. This year, 2022, I burned my counselor identity away on YouTube, and it felt fast and Uranian. It's part of the reason I'm bringing this to you. It was the elegant simplicity I have been pursuing and nurturing since 2014 when I left the corporate world. It was a dream in action, coming alive, building a life where I didn't really have to think about it too much, where I just know and taking action would be a byproduct of my inner knowing. In order for me to blossom in this way, I have learned more deeply how to stand in the unknown. Navigating the unknown was a bitch, still is a bitch sometimes, because as you get better, the challenges will get greater. So now I'm currently a woman without a label, and my website looks like it exists in the dark ages. I can't even relate to my website, but it's not here yet, and so I don't pursue my small need to get a new website. When it happens, it will birth really quickly. That's how stuff tends to happen in my world. So I've had to almost completely dissociate from an order which was restricting my spirit, my joy, and my light from fully and brightly shining in the world. Zeta Ophiuchi did that. She was my catalyst this year, massive catalyst. And the timing was perfect, the numerology on the date. Do it now, do it now. Why am I sharing all of this? Well, the world is ramping for change at a quantum level. And as I always say, when you pull the light into the body, it will hit every layer of resistance on the way down. Now, we're in a kind of up and down week where we are literally navigating dimensions, higher frequencies, not linear, higher, but finer, higher frequencies, tuning into more. And what's happening in the mind is it's like the mind is unsealing. It's like the mind is opening doorways into a broader spectrum of experience. So it might feel like there are literally beings in your living room. You can't see them, but you can see them. You can see them and you can sense them. Okay. It's all there. All timelines are happening now in this moment, but we don't have access to it. And it's going to challenge every layer of resistance in you to speaking the weird stuff, to being magical, actively magical, bringing it into mundane conversation, dropping spiritual bombs. So there's movement and resistance this week, and it will just continue to ramp because we're breaking down barriers and learning how to navigate them, just turning the old to dust, to move through. And a beautiful quote, which I think is accredited to Bukowski, but I haven't had time to check it. To reach up to heaven, you have to firmly plant your feet in hell. Okay, so there is no good or bad. There is the unenlightened. There's parts of you that are still in the darkness of you, the unknown of you. And the unknown frightens us because we've been trained that way by a system of order. But in smalls, shrinks the vastness of what we are. Okay. And if I've made my journey sound butterflies and unicorns, it most certainly is not. On an almost daily basis, I have to consciously lead my fearful ego by the hand forward into who knows what, to encourage that part of me and constantly remind myself that I made this. and I am navigating this, whatever this is. And it's almost as if I'm actively seeking that wobble, because in that wobble, the subconscious can't come in and imprint onto it and give me security. This is a piece of card. It contains a message. The message is receiving. That's my only navigational tool, just to tune in. And tune out from the order. So, if you find yourself in some kind of dissociating behavior, my only question would be, how does it feel to feel into this new unknown part of me? That will encourage the soma to come into the party, and that will activate the natural intelligence at a cellular level. That's where the quantum passes straight through you, so you can pull straight from the unknown, the field of the unmade, the field of the unknown. Try and drop the thinking around change and feel in rather than think out. That's it for the notes. I'm curious to pull a few cards. So, dissociation. Speak to me on dissociation. That's a lot of cards. That's a very lot of cards, and I would have you here all day. Yeah, well, you know, I could challenge that. Clarity and organization, a tidy house. It's one of the deadly sins, isn't it? Is to be untidy. Untidy in the way you appear, untidy in the way you speak, untidy in the way you think. What do we sinfully call that in the world? A dreamer, a flake. We don't know where they're going. It's a fool. It's the soul journey. So is that part of the order? To stay tidy and not make a mess in the world? And the solar plexus is nodding. What does your mess look like? Bear with me. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. That blooming card. That blooming card is upside down again. Right, I'm going to bring these cards to you. They're really speaking into the rest of July. I've written the notes for the Uranus North Node conjunction. And I'm going to do that video when this ridiculous heat in the UK ends. Should be tomorrow, Thursday. It should drop back to normal. So at the moment, no. Right. So if we're talking about mess and chaos, this is kind of, okay, what I can see is a little girl, and she's adorable, and she's got one of those cute little girl dresses on, and she's standing there, and she's emptied cereal and Nutella all over the floor. She's standing there going, look what I made. It's that. It's that. It's this loving six that's really speaking to me. It's the innocence of what we build. And building anything in a moment, it's like an expression of perfection. It's an expression of the divine creating. It's just an expression of it, and witnessing it rather than judging it and putting it into some kind of order is what's going to uplift life. So building from this heart-centered, joyful, playful, look what I did. It's adorable. It's just adorable. That's freedom. That's a beautiful chaos. We need more of that in the world. We need more of that in the world. Okay. $11:44. Woo, that's some big energy. Oh, God. Right. Wow. That was, I don't know where that was. That was somewhere between the solar plexus and the dantian. It's a new point. Right. So 4 is the number of the container. It's how we build, the energy of how we build. And what's near the 4 is what drives the energy. So 6 is balance, harmony, the heart. What am I pouring into my chalice? Resurrect that child. Doesn't care what the adults think. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. This feels Uranus. This feels Uranus. That's interesting. The whole of my reptilian brain just activated, and it was like the energy was going backwards and forwards, and it was like, are you going or are you coming? So the 2 was presenting itself as 2 choices. This is 2 of Cups energy. What am I committed to? Can I be committed to the unknown? That's my question to me. Can I fully commit to the unknown? That's my question to me. When I ask myself that question, my small mind comes in with a vision of me wandering the streets looking like a tramp, sleeping in doorways, being full of wisdom. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just archaic lineage. It's archaic lineage, part of the order, to stop us breaking out. But we're getting pushed through. There's just, yeah, I know, there's no going back, and it's going to feel some kind of way. Well, we're in it. It's feeling some kind of way. We're already ramping for that conjunction. Does anybody feel like a stranger in their own home? I do. I stand in rooms that I know how to navigate with my eyes closed. And it's like, where am I? Ah. Shooting. It's the number of the mystic. Mystical, magical child. Look at the wisdom in those eyes. I hope the sound's all right, by the way. I've got a fan in the desk. Look at the wisdom in those eyes. Right. So this is speaking to me literally about dispersing energy blockages. It's just really simple. And if you don't own a rattle, stick some dried peas or rice in a screw top jar. There is science behind rattling. There is science behind shamanic drumming. It's to do with, I'm just going to keep using the word, it's to do with the seals that are being unlocked in the mind. And as energy, forms new conduits to bring in, it might be a bit clumpy because it hasn't been used. They're showing me lumps of phlegm, sorry, that just haven't been used. Neuroconnectors that haven't been activated. And when you rattle around your energy, if you haven't done it, try it, because it's just put you into child state. It can make you cry. It can make you cough. It can make your nose start running. So yeah. Yeah, and it can rattle light in on that 43.7. It's just dancing with magic. That's dancing with the universe. Rainbow light body, upgrading. Okay. So bringing those new light codes in, that is definitely going to help. Gateway. Are you following this? Gateway. This is, wow. Oh, some weird things happening in my energy. I feel like a great big hole has just opened up in the top of my skull, and it's just black in, it's just black with stars. Wow, look at this, the full set. Drum. Again, there's a backwards and forwards energy with this. That 15.6 is giving me a backwards and forwards. That's really going to help balance the peaks in energy as we ramp into this big shift, big shift. So I think what this is pointing to is, can you create a joyful process for yourself? You know, I was watching Helen's video this morning, Helen from Angel Wings Holistics. Check out her weekly. And she's talking about like old paradigm, get up at 4 and meditate, get up at 5 and do yoga. And it's like, can that, and I agree with you, Helen, can that not just be a playful process? Can you throw cereal and Nutella on the floor and get into your magical child? Spin your pentagram, blend energies in a different way, rattle and drum, get magical. And this blooming card came up upside down again, and it's like, however it feels, it's perfect. It's perfect. The center is always the same. So I don't want to turn, no. Go with that, be with that, tune into that. Or trigger all your little OCD triggers, all your tidy triggers. Tidy triggers. Might not be clarity. Might not be clarity. Might not be organized. Might be disorganized and foggy. Really, really tuning. Really tune. That was a beautiful reading. Thank you so much. And then It's my poncho, it keeps getting hooked on the arms of my chair. Then I did the numerology, right, the dissociation. So it all gets really interesting. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, dissociation. So the urge of soul, that's the vowels, they're the numbers on the top, it's in here, it's like, it's the essence of what comes naturally. It's the essence of what brings joy. It's the urge of soul is what's been brought in. It's the essence of soul, again and again and again. And that is a 40, which is a building energy. "404. 404 is an error code, isn't it? On the internet, it's an error code. It's pulling straight from the void. I mean, you could literally put that 404 with that card. It's pulling straight from through the void. The consonants, that's the numbers on the bottom. There's a 16-7, which talks all about, and 7 is that mystic number, and 16 is asking about the correct use of power and how you bring the light into the chalice. Correct use of power. The bottom numbers represent the personality, so it's the part that's projected. It's not real, it's not the soul essence. It's the part that's projected, which is, how do you use your power? So there's a question in there. When you add together that 40/4 and the 16-7, you get 56-11-2, which is DNA. And then I got really playful. And I did a little thing that we call precipitation, which is where you take the first 9 letters of a word and you reduce and reduce and reduce. So you add the D with the I, and you add the I with the S, and you just keep reducing and reducing. And then you circle the middle number all the way down, and that gives you the spiritual spine of the word. "33, Christ consciousness. 6, heart, the chalice, the grail." That is a seriously high vibing number. Seriously. My body had a visceral response to that when I saw it. Dissociate. It actually would guide you to dissociate. You've got to do it with love. You've got to do it with love. You've got to hold yourself through this. We're coming into Leo season. Love, big cat hugs, big love. Right, okay. We're going to wrap this reading up. Let's draw one of these beautiful cards. What can you tell us? I get the word reset, this. Embracing sensitivity, that's a beautiful 2 energy. Uniqueness. Living with grace. I love these cards. Is there anything else we need to know? think this is going to be a timeless reading, at least until 2026, I'm getting. Wow. If I stayed with this energy, I would cry. This is Lionsgate. This is Lionsgate. Heart chakra opening, unlocking generosity. Unlocking, doors flying open. It's a cosmic shift. What's happening in your throat chakra? Okay. What on earth am I going to call this? Okay, let's wrap it up with an abundance card. I hope you guys are whatever you are. Yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness me. This is unbelievable. Chiron goes retrograde, I think, today in Aries. Let's just have a quick natter with these. Non-duality, I've been talking about unification for the last few weeks. The unification of self, basically what I've been doing in the last 5 years. At every level. Let me show you this again. Something really weird's happening in my energy field. It's like an almost unbearable excitement. It's all in my heart, actual heart valve. Like I should be packing, or I should be leaving because I've got to go pick somebody up, or I've got to go and meet somebody. It's that kind of. So I'm just going to breathe that into the whole body, disperse it if you like, so that I don't act in haste, not time to act. Non-duality, the gathering. Started with intuition, really tuning in, really tuning in. Clear heart, innocence and purity, the beauty way. Keep letting go. You're doing beautifully well. Keep letting go. The structure and the order and the hierarchy and the pressure to drive, succeed, succeed. Money is a byproduct. It is not the driver. And I understand we're in hyperinflation, and I understand it's different and tricky. Surrender. Surrendering doesn't always look pretty. Wow, look at that. It's like being raised from the dead. This is judgment energy. Like being raised from the dead. Back to extraordinary divine beings. Extraordinary. And all of that came out of dissociation. And I'll leave you with my love. And I will see you all again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.